everyone, welcome back to the channel. This will be a review on the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2016, the 4th Awakening version from the movie Shin Godzilla. Drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. Hope you enjoy the review. The front of the box is very nice. I always assumed in the eBay pictures, because they were quite small, that this was a shot from the movie, but I think it's actually the figure. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You got the prototype at least on the front of the box here. And a nice image of the figure on the side. And on the back, some cool poses showing you the accessories. That's pretty much the reason I bought this one right there, because it doesn't require any of the plastic rods to hold everything in place. It just looks natural and amazing. That's one of the best scenes in the film. So that picture right there was the one I literally swore out loud when I saw it. I said, ah, fuck, because I knew once I saw that, I was like, now I need it. But yeah, really nicely done. This is a big improvement over the first version, which I have here. I have repainted that first version, so it's not stock anymore, but this one is. I don't know if I'm gonna bother repainting this one, because it does seem just all round a big improvement. Posability, the tail holds its pose really well, doesn't break off in the middle anymore, and it was nice and easy to interchange these different mouth options. You get some bits here, you get a different end to the tail, and that's just the regular head with the top section and then the bottom jaw section, and then these beams that one can come out of his mouth, the other one can come out of the tail, and this beautiful two-piece accessory, and then you just point it up into his mouth. The way the light passes through the spines on the back, really cool. An instruction book, and then the plastic, you know, rods to hold everything in place, which I don't really want to use. We'll see how it goes. But just right out of the box, I'm very impressed with this release. Right, so I'm just going to change over the head parts here and put him back to just, we'll start off looking at him in his regular, just upright, mouth closed kind of look. My chair is very squeaky lately and it bugs me, so I hope it's not bugging you too much. Some hair on there, nice, all the way from Japan. Which one should I put in first? I think I put in the bottom jaw. So this is just the regular one. That's the top of his head, you melon. What are you doing? Right, did that wrong. Here we go. That's the bottom jaw. Right, that's on there now. No, it's not. Now it is. And then the top one. I mean, this looks better painted as well, like the eye and the teeth. Is that right? Okay, good. He doesn't, I've seen other people say this, but he doesn't seem to stand as upright as the other one does. That's true. I'm trying to get him upright, but he still really wants to just lean forward. But I really like it. Again, he has too much, well, it's not as bad as the first time around, but seems to be a bit too much red up there. And his teeth all over the place. Alright, now with Shin on the rotating base, get a look at the pieces. It comes around here, check out all the details. Here we go again with that tail coming around. It's so big. And it's a terrifying version of Godzilla. More of a genuine, horrific look at what that would actually be like if something like that were to occur. And it is frightening. I wish we were going to get more of it. I'd love a sequel, or just a continuation of that particular story, especially seeing that final shot of the movie, which, the more you think about it, is just terrifying, because I've heard people say that they're like human-sized kind of Godzillas, but if you think of the size of Shin Godzilla and when you look at that tail there, I reckon those things coming out of his tail could have been anything from maybe 15 feet tall, maybe more. Could be wrong. Let me know about that, folks. It's just I'm thinking about the size of Shin, one of the biggest Godzillas ever, and if those, you know, kind of humanoid versions of him were starting to sprout out of his tail, getting ready to come down and finish this off because he realized that being big wasn't helping him, and his next step was to evolve into possibly, I don't know, would it have been he's able to kind of shed those mini versions but he's still there, or would he kind of die and they take over? I don't know. So interesting. And there's other forms that he was going to take as well, but it gets pretty deep. It gets pretty intense. Basically ends up becoming God. Yeah, he's already Godzilla, a real God, omnipresent, that kind of stuff. But absolutely stunning piece. It's going to be a lot of fun to photograph because of the way the light passes through the spines and the various effects. When you get it anywhere near the light and all of a sudden it just comes to life. And same goes for the tail. Not sure which one I'm actually supposed to have on him right now. One's a bit more pink, the other one's a bit more purple, so I guess that's the right one. And you get the beams. Yeah, they look pretty good. I don't imagine they're going to be much fun to work with, maybe. But this is the real, you know, piece for me. This is one of the massive deciding factors of me getting this piece in the first place. It just rests in there, and then you just put his mouth down, open it up, get him looking like he's, you know, shooting this out. Imagine the pictures you can take. It's going to be beautiful. Alright, so on the left we have the first version, just pretty much the regular black and red version, although on this figure originally, if you see my original review when I first got it, there was very little red. I completely, totally repainted him and took away a lot of the shine while doing that. And just, yeah, I used a nice matte black to dry brush over all the red that I put on him, and he turned out fantastic. It is one of my absolute favourite pieces now. And I repainted all his teeth and just the whole thing, really, the nails. But here he is next to this version, so it's nice to have two versions that are really vastly different looking now. I like the more matte finish of this one, and then the more kind of just black and shiny, a little bit more evil Awakening version, stock, unmodded, unpainted, or unrepainted, whereas this one is repainted, sir, madam. Go ahead and check it out. Turned out great. Absolutely love this piece now. But check out the videos I did recently on this one. The original review before I modded it, and then the actual video of me modding it and then seeing the results. But he stands up straighter, but he's a lot more loose. Like, as I move him, his tail will flop around and won't stay upright, whereas this one, it's pretty stiff. But yeah, you can tell now, because that really is as upright as I can get the Awakening version, and the original is way more upright. So, a bit of a difference there. Can't get this one's tail to do that as much, which is handy, because if any version of Shin you want the tail to be as upright as possible, it would be this one for when he's first kind of stomping through. I just can't really get that one to bend as much.
There's the two of them. Which kind of finish do you prefer? The more shiny black or the more muted down kind of matte? Yeah. I could always go over this with a bit more of a dark black.
That was like a charcoal black that I used for him. Could always go over certain areas in a straight up black finish, but I don't know. It's probably just because he's standing right beside this one. I'm just seeing some little areas here that could use a bit of darkening. It's a bit too red there for me. And yeah, the other head you get for this version with the split jaw that looks like that, his eye does have the kind of protective membrane, whatever it is, that covers his eye, and he starts to blast out the flames and the beams out of his mouth. Kind of reminds me of the great white shark. Before it takes a big bite, the membrane goes over the eye to protect it. It's a nice touch. Now before I change over the head to start using all these cool effects, I'll just get a look at the regular head and how it looks when he's roaring. The eye, nice and sharply painted, no mess. Teeth are painted much better on this one. Now I'll just turn him a little bit here. I see up in his mouth a little bit. Yeah, I think it looks really good. The eye, yeah, that seems to be, well, that one's looking dead center. Teeth again seem to be painted really well. That one's dead center, and his other eye, that's not dead center, is it? No. So again, I don't know what it is with Shin. Maybe that's just the way it is with him. He's a little bit, you know, he can maybe move his eyes independently. Who knows? I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that. It'd be a good little defense thing for him. Wow, that does look really cool. Look at that right there. It's beautiful. Wow. So my buddy Carl from Toys of Arkham on YouTube and Instagram, he's getting the first version, but then he saw my picture. I sent him a picture of this when I got it today, and he said, hey, you might need that one too. I said, you do? You need it? And you do. Carl, you're gonna have to get it. It's beautiful. Nice, man. I mean, once you see this, that'll be, I mean, I already showed it in the intro, but I'm gonna show it again. I'm gonna do it again. You're gonna want this, please. You and everybody else, you're gonna want it. You're gonna need it. You're gonna find yourself mooching about on eBay. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this. I know you're supposed to use the stand that they give you, but you can just kind of balance it between the two parts of his mouth there. See that? Just close it on the beam and it holds real nice. Actually looks pretty cool. If I can get the tail one going, we'll have a look at how that looks. Might have to make some space here. Clear the way. Well, it's very fiddly. It's all a balancing act, but it does look bloody gorgeous. I mean, I love the colours. And you've got the tail one there. I mean, that, I can't get it to connect into the mouth of the tail at all. I don't even know if I've got the right end in there, but I've tried both ways and it just doesn't seem to want to sit there properly. So I do love the way it looks at the front here though. I think that looks really aggressive and awesome. I'm going to have this one posed up really different looking to the regular just Roman Shin. I'm just going to have this one full on blasting this down into the ground. It's going to look awesome, but that does look cool. I'll be sure to get plenty of pictures for Instagram so you can check it out, but it looks lovely when the light's hitting it. You know you need it, Carl. You're about to know you need it. I'm about to go all out. Oh, damn it. Alright, so this alternate head that you're supposed to use for the effects, you can see that kind of silver covering over his eye on both sides. That's a really nice touch. Again, teeth painted pretty good this time. Pretty good for this scale. They didn't do too bad. And there's the bottom jaw that splits apart before he unleashes hell. And you just pop that on there, and basically the same thing here. Now folks, this is the reason it's here. And it looks even more beautiful in person. That is devastation. Evil breath. The destroyer of man. It is awesome. Look at that, man. That is beautiful. That's how it's being displayed. Of course you would. That's what you do. You display it like that. That's absolutely stunning from any angle, I bet. Oh, need to line that up a little bit more in the middle. There we go. Look at that. My goodness. Even if you got it displayed quite low down, it still looks good because you get more of a look at this effect as it hits the ground. From low down like this, just pure epicness. You can hear the music. You can hear the sound of the flames. Everything's so distinct sounding in this movie. I mean, it's a lot of previously used effects and roars and all kinds of stuff that they use from the old movies. It's really cool. That is amazing. Any doubts, folks? Definitely, I recommend this one 100%. Definitely, it's beautiful. Really scratches that itch. I was going to get the NECA version of this, but I'm glad I held out and went for this one instead. I still want the box that the NECA version of this comes in. I love that beautiful white box with the poster on it. I would love to have that, but I just settled for like a art card or something that I found on eBay from Japan when the movie came out. That should be coming soon. I'll just display that with the pieces up on the Shin shelf. That is truly, truly awesome looking. Let me know what you think of that. Really need to bring in this light closer, which means I'm going to move you again and your tail's going to go floppy, as it always does if it even touches anything. Oh, his tail's behaving itself now. Oh, spoke too soon. Go on, his tail's so bloody long. Stay there. Bring this closer. Oh wow, if I could get it there. I've got this bent as much as it will go. It's not bending anymore, Dean. Oh, hang on. Right. Trick is now to try and not get this in the shot. Let's just zoom in a little bit. There we go. Beautiful.
Alright folks, well, I'm going to wrap it up. Won't keep you too long. And I'll just give you my final thoughts. I think it's a fantastic figure. I really, really do. Great articulation, although he doesn't stand up, as straight as this one does for some reason. But he certainly can lean forward enough to do a cool pose like this. It's definitely how I'm going to display him. I think it's very effective. I think a lot of people would come in this room and pretty much point this one out in particular and mention it and say, wow, that's nice. I would imagine so anyway. But I would give it out of 10. I think I originally, before I repainted this one, I gave him like a 7 out of 10, I think it was. Possibly an 8. But then once I repainted it, I love it now. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's an absolutely beautiful looking piece. This one, I'm going to give him, I don't see any negatives really to not give him a 10 out of 10 because it's a fantastic Shin Godzilla piece. They did make some good improvements to give you some cool accessories. I love the box, and the paintwork is really nice on this one. I mean, the red in the cracks, it is there a little bit, you can see it. It's there, more than it was, I think, on the original. There's some red in the cracks. So I'm happy enough with the paint job, and now that I got a really kind of matte finish version, I don't mind having a slightly more kind of shiny, darker version. Kind of works nicely with the kind of purple. It all comes together quite nicely. I'd give him, I don't want to be overly generous with the score, but I really can't think of a reason not to give this a nice solid 10 out of 10. It's a great piece. Masterpiece is 10 out of 10. Is it a masterpiece figure when it comes to Shin Godzilla? I'm sure people would disagree. Some people would agree. I like the way the teeth have been painted on this one. The eyes are nicely done. Fingernails seem pretty good. The toenails are nicely done too. Yeah, I like it, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'll give it. Well, I guess these could have stayed in a little bit better, couldn't they? I mean, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I couldn't get the one in the tail to sit properly at all. I just had to kind of point the tail straight up and balance it. And the slightest movement and it fell out. But the one coming out of the mouth looks fantastic. I'll give it a 9.5. Like a 9 out of 10. But could easily be a 10 out of 10 if that beam in the tail had stayed in a little bit more secure. But it's still, I still think it's a masterpiece. So, 9.5. We'll call it that. Close to a 10, but just that little niggle with the beams not really, coming out of that tail properly. It's a minor thing really, but I'm sure there's ways, to make it look better. Maybe I just did it wrong. Should we call it a 10 out of 10? Fuck it! It's a 10 out of 10 piece! Yep, a masterpiece figure. I'm glad to have it in the collection. Shin Godzilla, 4th Awakening version by SH Monster Arts. Fantastic stuff. And there'll be more cool Shin Godzilla stuff coming up on the channel soon. As soon as it arrives, there will be more. The Holy Grail 30cm Sakai X Plus Rick on the way. It's in the country. I don't know what FedEx are doing with it, but they've had it for a while. Right. I'll see you soon, folks. It's an absolutely stunning piece. Carl, if you're watching, definitely get this one, mate. Definitely. Won't take up too much space, and it's absolutely stunning. And it'll make a nice accompanying piece to the more upright roaming. I call him the roaming Godzilla. Roaming Shin. And this is the Awakening full fury, Destructoid. Alright, folks. Hope you're doing well. October is fast approaching. It's exciting. My favourite month of the year. Give me some of that sweet autumn goodness, and then wrap it all up at the end in a nice little treat we call Halloween. See you soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.